Hey, what's up guys? Garrett here. Welcome back to another video. In this one, a little bit different than what we've been doing in previous videos. I wanted to give you guys a glimpse really into how I stay productive and motivated to get up early and to constantly be working on stuff and working towards my goals. And my hope is that you'll be able to find some value in this and that you'll be able to take just one little thing, if anything, and that you'll be able to use it in your life on a hopefully daily basis and really see a big positive difference, a positive impact in your goals or in your performance or in maybe how happy you are or whatever it is. I'm just hoping that you can find some bit of value in this. So it's going to be a little bit different than the usual coding videos that we make because I have some family stuff going on, so I didn't really have time to put together a full coding video. And I think I'm overdue for 2 videos now. So I just wanted to try and put something together. So um, yeah, let's just jump into it. I think some of these will be more general things that maybe pertain to just, life, as opposed to specifically being motivated and being productive. But I think it'll definitely have an impact on your level of motivation and your ability to be productive if you kind of have some of these basic things down that, again, are helpful for just life in general, in my opinion. So the first one is going to be determining what your goals are. And this is something that will let me know down in the comments actually right now if you're interested in seeing a video on, how to make goals and how to set goals, how to track goals, how to figure out what goals are, stuff like that, because that can easily be an entirely different video in and of itself. And I don't want to, load up this video because I think that's largely a different topic, but let me know down in the comments below if you're interested in doing that. Also, before we go on, do me a favor, slide down a little bit in the page there and hit the like button for me. It really helps out the channel and I really appreciate it, so thank you. The next thing is going to be determining your why. Now, what does that mean? I think when we go throughout our daily lives, we think in terms of what and how. What should I have for lunch? What should I make for dinner? What should I do now? What can I do to better myself? What can I this? What should I that? And then we also think in terms of how. Well, how am I going to make dinner? How am I going to get lunch? How am I going to get better? When we think of these things in terms of just really what and how, but we don't really think in terms of why. Why are we doing something? And I think if you think in terms of why and really give yourself a really good reason for doing something, you create a foundation that you can build anything on top of. Because if you have the right reason, if you have the right why, then it doesn't matter what or how you do, you will always do the things and do them in the ways that satisfy your why. And if you can think into your goals in terms of why, then I think you'll be kind of successful no matter what or how you go about doing something. This is actually something that I heard like a really long time ago, honestly, at this point. But there's actually a book that came out called Start With Why, and it's got by a guy named Simon Sinek. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Either read it or, as I did, listen to it on Audible, which is also great if you have a commute to work or something like that, or to school maybe. And it really kind of elaborated on the idea, I guess, of Start With Why. And it was a really, really interesting book. It has a lot of cool stories in there about when people focus on, what or how, it doesn't really work out. And the whole idea is that people buy why you do something, not what you do. And so because of that, you should start with why. And I think that's also applicable to being productive and being motivated and setting your goals and stuff like that. If you start with why, you set yourself up, you set a foundation for success. So now that we have determined what our goals are, and now that we kind of understand, we're going to start with this whole idea of why we're going to do something and then build off of how we're going to do it and what we're going to do to accomplish it. The next thing we're going to do is perform a self-audit. And I do this regularly, which is something that I think really helps me personally to kind of make sure that I'm in line with the direction I'm trying to go in. And so what I mean by that is just observe yourself. Maybe, and this is actually something that I have later on, but you can have just write it down, like a journal or something like that. Write down the things that you do, the amount of time it takes, how you feel when you do them, if it's helping you or not helping you, so on and so forth. You can probably ask a million questions about every little thing you do, but ask yourself, Is it okay to get up when I do? Am I going to bed early enough? Should I eat different foods? What am I eating? Am I spending a lot of time doing one particular thing? Whatever it is, just question everything and let that go for a week or 2 weeks, maybe even a month, even more, whatever you feel comfortable with, really, and see what you learn. I think you'll find that a lot of the things that you do from a day to day basis, you can probably remove if they don't really align with your goals. And if you truly, truly want to reach your goals, then you will definitely find a lot of things that you can remove because they'll just be not they'll be nothing to do with your goals and they won't really have an impact on making you productive or keeping you motivated or things like that. And that's something that don't just do once. Like I said, I do that regularly. So I do that, on some level I do it every day, but on a more official level I'd say I do it, weekly or monthly. And after a while, you'll reach a point where you don't necessarily have to write things down because you can just kind of keep track, in your head. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I don't like that I do that. Or, oh, yeah, this really worked for me. I think I want to try that to, try to incorporate that more and more. Things like that. And I think it'll really help to kind of make sure that you're always staying in tune with yourself, listen to yourself, and see what kind of works for you, and don't be afraid to experiment. So I think that self audit of your productivity and stuff, whatever you do on a daily basis, I think that'll really help as well. So this is actually an interesting one. Wake up earlier, and maybe something that people don't want to do. Waking up is hard. You could do two things. You could wake up at the same time, or you can go to bed later, or you could go to bed at the same time and you could wake up earlier. Either way, you're gaining that time back. Personally, I like to wake up early. Reason being, nobody's up at 5 a.m. when I get up, so there's not really any texts, there's no notifications. There's nothing really going on to bother me, and I know that I'm the only one up. Oh, I live by myself, but I know that, in general, most people are still asleep. And so there's not really going to be that much going on at 5 a.m. The other reason I get up early is because it's hard. It's not easy to say to yourself, I'm going to go to bed earlier so that I can wake up earlier. It's tough to do that day in and day out. And it's fun. I personally enjoy it. I think that I'm a morning person, but it's still something that you have to be on top of. And I think doing that, waking up early, doing something that's hard is the first thing in your day, I think for me helps to set myself up for success because I've already accomplished one thing that was tough. And so everything else is probably not going to be as hard, right? And I think that really helps to the first thing you do is success, right? The first thing you do is something that you can accomplish and you can check off the list, right? And actually, this is an interesting statistic. If you get up 1 hour earlier every day, so 365 hours out of the day or out of the year, right? You gain back 15.2 days. Let that sink in a little bit. 15.2 days. What would you do with an extra 15.2 days or just 15 days? That's a lot of time. A lot that you can get done. I mean, you can get done a lot in one day, even an hour. You can get done a lot in, right? Imagine what you could get done in 15 days. I think that'd be pretty special. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's amazing that we can gain that much time by just getting up an hour earlier. And there's a lot that you can do in that hour. Number 5 is add structure and routine to your life. So what does that mean, right? So for example, getting up earlier, get up at the same time every day. I get up at 5, that's just me. I get up at 5 on the weekdays. On the weekends, I don't set an alarm. I allow myself to sleep in, but I probably wake up around, 6:37 naturally. If you don't want to wake up at 5, don't wake up at 5. But if you want to wake up at 7, let's say, or whatever time it is that you choose, stick to that time. Get up at that time every day. It helps your body to get into a rhythm and it makes things more predictable for you. And when you're trying to, reach your goals and you're really driven and you really want to be motivated, predictability is important because there's a lot that's going to happen along that journey that is going to be unpredictable and that you won't have much control over. And so it's important that you kind of ensure that you're doing the things that you do have control over and that you are adding that sense of predictability where possible. So getting up at the same time is a really good one. Another one is creating a morning routine. I get up, I work out, I do some coding, stuff like that, usually coding, doesn't have to be coding, just work in general, right? And then I get ready for work and I go in, right? Even when I get to work, and this is kind of weird actually, but even when I get to work, there are two entrances to get to work. And for me, there's one entrance that's very clearly closer to me. Like it's just on my way, right? And I purposely skip that entrance and walk around the corner of the building to the front to go in that entrance. Why? Because for some reason it just, I don't know, I guess it's like when you watch an athlete and they're doing these kind of like these little rituals, like maybe, basketball, they go to the free throw line and I don't know, they do whatever they do, kind of get themselves in the right mindset, or a hockey goalie, you see hockey goalies, they tap the pipes, stuff like that. Um, or I don't really know in other sports, but there's a ton of stuff that athletes will do, and it's all to get them to focus. And I think that's the same thing, is that by going in, by taking that longer route, by going to that specific entrance, it just gets my mind into a different state and it gets me ready to focus on the day. And I think doing things like that don't necessarily take the longer route to work per se, but just doing small little things that kind of just get your mind in focus, and they become a part of this routine. They become a part of this structure that you're creating for yourself on a daily basis. The next thing as a part of that is something else that you can do, more so in line with the structure aspect of it, is to block time off. If you want 4 hours to work on whatever it is you're working on, then look at your schedule, figure out where you have time, and block off a collective 4 hours. It doesn't have to be 4 hours straight. Maybe it's 2 and 2, maybe it's 3 and 1, whatever it is, but block off some time. And that's time that you know that you have to get stuff done. And you can tell people, look, no, I don't have time, I'm not available. And so it's not, you don't really see it anymore as free time, which is very, I guess, I can't think of the word right now. But with free time, it's, subject to change. I mean, if something comes up out of nowhere, you think, oh, okay, I have free time now. Yeah, I'm going to go, right? But if you really want to get stuff done, block off the time to do it, to make sure that you give yourself the appropriate time and space to get stuff done. This is something that I think is more of like not like a tangible thing that you can do, but I guess just something you can keep in the back of your mind. And that is understanding and always remembering that it's a process, right? I've never met anyone who can just snap their fingers and be good at anything or be successful at anything. And if you guys know that person, then email me or something and I want to meet them. But you can easily, you can easily forget that this is a process, and you can become very frustrated with yourself and create a lot of stress and anxiety and pressure on yourself unnecessarily, because of how badly you want to get stuff done, how badly you want to reach and get to a certain point. And I know I do that every day. But the most important thing is to remember that this is a process. And all that matters is that you know where you're trying to go, or at least have an idea of where you're trying to go, and you take steps to get there. No one knows if it's the right path that we're taking. All we can do is start and go somewhere and be able to pivot when the time is right, or when we have to, or when we see that there's a need to. But remember that it's a process, and it's really, really okay that it's a process. It's a good thing that it's a process, because when you're all really successful and you've reached your goals, you're going to look back on these moments and think, wow, they were some of the greatest times. I mean, how many times do you hear about millionaires, billionaires, really successful people, and they have everything, and yet they reminisce about times where they had nothing and they were just working really hard towards their dreams? All of them, I think, do that. All of the great ones do that. And it's okay. It's good, right? That means that it's all worth it in the end, hopefully, right? But remember that it's a process. Remember that, it's not going to happen overnight. The last thing that I want to share with you guys, that I do all of these things actually on a daily basis, daily, and in some cases weekly or monthly for that like audit thing. But I do all of these things, so I do practice all these things. The last thing that I want to do, or that I want to share with you guys, is tracking how you're doing. So keep a journal. Maybe it's a daily journal, maybe it's something you just kind of write in whenever you feel necessary. Like I use OneNote, and I just write there whenever I feel that I have something that I want to say. And it's not, I'm not necessarily writing about how stressed I am or anything like that, but I'll write about things that I think work for me or that don't work for me. Because I know for me personally, if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget it. So if something is really working for me, I want to remember that. I want to write it down so I can go and explore that a little bit more and think about it and maybe do more of it. If something's not working for me, I write it down. I want to understand, try and understand at least, why is it not working? What did I do that made it not work? Is it possible to make it work? Is it worth it to try and make it work? Stuff like that, right? So write things down. I also actually personally in my daily agenda, so I have, a to-do list for every day, and I write it down the night before. So last night I wrote down two big things and two small things that I wanted to get done today. And they were, I think, I can tell you, my big things are I want to record a video. That's what I'm doing right now. My other big thing is I want to take another look at at Firebase functions testing. So for my Flutter app circle, I'm using Firebase as my backend. I would like to have some automated testing, and I was working on it. Now I want to come back to it. The other thing is read What It Takes. It's a book that I'm currently reading, and I need to fold my laundry. So, write down your goals, track everything. And writing down your goals on a daily basis is another way that you can do that. Not just keeping a journal of what works and what doesn't work, but also write down your goals on a daily basis. And that's something that we can do. We can go over if you guys are interested in that goals video, because I think that is largely another topic from this. But nevertheless, write down everything. If you think it's something that you're going to want to remember, write it down, especially if it has to do with how you're doing as a person, or thoughts that you're having about how you can be better, or things that you want to improve on, or whatever it is. So write everything down. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this video. Do you guys want to see more videos like this? I had a lot of fun making it. It's something that I'm very into, personal development, self-improvement, productivity, entrepreneurship, all that stuff. So I love making videos about this in addition to the coding, and it's something that I would definitely like to do, and I'm curious to see if you guys enjoyed this as well. So leave a comment down below, like the video if you didn't already, and if you want to see more videos like this or more videos about coding, definitely subscribe to my channel because I come out with videos every single week. Oh, also another thing, check out the description below. I have a survey actually for my channel for the different kinds of videos that you guys might want to see. So check that survey out as well. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.